22 glasses went up around that table. The sound moved like a wave. My glass stayed on the tablecloth. My mother was smiling. She was looking at my sister. She said my sister had saved my father's life. I had a 6-inch scar on my left side. I had $11,000 in debt I could not pay. I had given my father a kidney 8 weeks earlier. Nobody in that room said my name. My father's hand reached across the table. He grabbed my wrist. He slid a folded napkin toward me. He whispered 2 words. "Read it." That napkin changed everything that came after. My name is Marisol. I run a small greenhouse in Albuquerque. I grow herbs for local restaurants. I make $34,000 a year. I gave my father an organ to keep him alive. My family erased me for it. If you have ever done something real for someone and watched them hand the credit to someone else, you already know how this sits in your chest. Subscribe. This story has one of the most satisfying endings I have told. I do not want you to miss it. Every morning, I fill a small watering can. I water a cactus on my windowsill. That cactus has been dead for 2 years. I do not know why I keep doing it. I just do. My name is Marisol Vega. I am 31. I live in a 1-room rental above my neighbor's garage in Albuquerque. I drive a 2009 pickup with a cracked dashboard and 1 window that works. I grow culinary herbs and edible flowers for about a dozen restaurants. It is a real business. It keeps me fed. Most years, it brings in around $34,000. My mother calls me maybe 4 times a year. My sister Renata is 37. She is director of operations at our father's company, Vega Medical Logistics. Our father Ernesto founded it in 2001. It distributes hospital supply equipment across the region. Renata makes $190,000 a year. She has a husband named Marco, 2 kids, a house in the North Valley with a pool, and our mother's full attention. When Renata joined the company, my mother said at the dinner table, "Finally, someone who understands what your father built." I had just come back from a business microloan workshop. Nobody asked me anything. I stopped going to family gatherings in 2023, holiday dinners where I sat in the corner while my mother narrated Renata's promotions to every relative in the room. Birthday dinners where my mother forgot to order me a piece of cake. I stopped because showing up hurt more than staying home. On July 20th, 2025, Ernesto collapsed at his company's anniversary banquet. 200 guests, linen tablecloths, a live band. I was not invited. I found out from Renata's Instagram story the next morning. At 9:47 p.m., my cousin Pilar texted me, "Your dad collapsed. They took him to Presbyterian. Thought you should know." I was eating reheated rice at my small table. I changed clothes and drove across town. My mother, Gloria, and Renata were in the ER waiting room, heads close together. When Gloria looked up and saw me, her face did not soften. It tightened. I sat 3 chairs away. No one spoke to me. A doctor appeared 45 minutes later. Stage 4 kidney failure. Without a transplant in 6 to 8 weeks, he would be on dialysis for life. A living donor was ideal if someone matched. Gloria glanced at Renata. "We will do whatever it takes." She did not look at me. They went in to see my father first. When they came out, Gloria said I could go in if I wanted. Keep it short. I walked down the hall. Before I reached the door, I heard my father's voice, thin, tired. "Is Marisol here?" Gloria did not answer. I pushed the door open. He was hooked to everything. His skin had gone gray. When he saw me, his eyes filled. "I thought you'd come," he said. "Your mother said you were probably too busy, that you don't stay close to the family." I stood there. I understood exactly what had been happening. "I'll get tested tomorrow, Dad." As I left, I passed Gloria and Renata in the hallway. I heard my mother say it, low and certain. "She'll test, and then find a reason to bail. You know how she is." My hands were trembling. I did not turn around. What nobody in that room knew was this. I called the transplant coordinator the next morning without telling anyone. 1 week later, July 28th, the results came back. Blood type compatible, tissue match at 98%, kidney function excellent, ideal donor. I sat in the hospital parking structure and cried until my throat hurt. I called my father directly. I am a match. I want to donate. His voice broke. You don't have to. I know. I want to. Then he said, your mother is going to have a lot to say. Let her. 2 days later, Gloria called a family meeting. I sat at their kitchen table and said I was compatible and ready. The room went quiet. Renata said she had been planning to get tested that week. She had not scheduled anything. I knew it the moment she said it. Gloria looked at me across the table. The problem is, you have never seen anything through in your life. I drove home without saying another word. 3 days later, Renata called me. Unusual. She said she wanted to organize a fundraiser for kidney disease research. She said it would raise money and get press. She said my name would absolutely be part of it. 1 week later, I searched online. The event listing said, Renata Vega Salinas Kidney Health Initiative, honoring the Vega family. My name was not there. I did not call Renata. I saved the link. Then came August 18th. 3 weeks after I had been confirmed as a compatible donor, my mother Gloria walked into the hospital social worker's office. She told the social worker I was emotionally erratic. She said I was doing it for attention. She asked if the donation could be delayed. She asked if another donor could be found. She tried to stop me from saving my father's life. The social worker documented every word. She reported it to the Transplant Ethics Committee. The committee interviewed me separately. They found me completely sound. They cleared the surgery. They noted in the official file that the mother's concerns appeared to reflect controlling family dynamics, not legitimate medical concerns. I did not know any of this yet. The fundraiser happened in mid-October. I was not invited. It raised $83,200. Renata posted a photo holding an oversized check. My mother stood beside her in a silk dress. My father sat in a wheelchair at the edge of the frame. The caption said, "Together we did this. Dad, you are worth every moment." 2,156 likes. Top comment, "Renata, you are an incredible daughter." I scrolled through 23 photos. I appeared in one, far in the back, blurry, recognizable only because I knew my own green cardigan. I had given my father a kidney. I had $11,230 in out-of-pocket costs. I was overdrawn by $200. I had not been paid in 9 weeks, and I was the blur in the background. I need to pause here. Has anyone ever treated your work like it was invisible? Like what you gave did not count because it did not look the way they expected? Tell me in the comments. November 15th, my surgeon cleared me for normal activity. Permanent conditions. Kidney monitoring every 6 months for life. I can never donate an organ again. That same day, a text from Gloria. Family dinner November 23rd. Private room. Old Town. 22 guests. Dress nicely. Be there. No please. No thank you. Just be there. I bought a dark green dress for $89. When I raised my arm in the dressing room, the scar showed above the neckline. 2 inches of raised pink tissue. I thought about returning it. Then I put it back on the hanger and carried it to the register. Let them see what this cost. The night before the dinner, I called my father. I asked if my mother was going to say anything about the donation. Long silence. I cannot control what your mother does, but I can control what comes after. Trust me. Come tomorrow. His voice was not steady when he said it. After we hung up, I sat by my window and looked at the dress on its hanger. Then I did what I always do before something I am afraid of. I went to sleep with the question still open. The morning of November 25th, I sat across from attorney Victor Sandoval in his office on the 12th floor in downtown Albuquerque. He had walked me through every document, the medical proxy, the life insurance form, the state filing. Then he handed me a sealed envelope from my father, 2 pages, handwritten. Ernesto's letter explained something I had not known. When I was 12, I had found an old photo album in his study, photos of his younger sister, Lucia, who had died in a car accident in 1981 at age 19. I looked exactly like her. Same eyes, same way of holding myself. Gloria had never been able to look at me without seeing Lucia. She resented the reminder, so she had pushed me out, and my father had let her. He had sent me money over 8 years, $28,000 total. Small amounts, always quietly. It was all he could manage without Gloria noticing. The letter ended. I cannot undo 34 years, but I can give you what I should have given you from the beginning. I love you. I am sorry. I retrieved my full medical records from Presbyterian Hospital. In the middle of the file, I found the Ethics Committee incident report, dated August 20th. I read what my mother had said to the social worker, word for word. I called Patricia Ibarra, the social worker. She confirmed everything. She said in 14 years of this work, she had seen families pressure donors to give. She had never once seen a mother attempt to block a daughter from donating to save her father's life. She said the records were mine. I could use them however I needed to. They had no idea what was coming. December 16th, 2 p.m., Vega Medical Logistics, 3rd floor conference room, 6 board members, the company attorney, the HR director, my mother, Gloria, as CFO, my sister Renata as director of operations, my father, Ernesto, as chairman emeritus, and me attending as majority shareholder for the first time. I wore a dark blazer. I had kept the hospital ID bracelet from September on my wrist. The scar showed above my collar. I walked to the head of the table. Gloria was already sitting in that chair. I stood. I did not speak. She moved. I sat down. "You are not usually here," she said. "I am the majority shareholder. I thought it was time to start attending." I slid the state filing across the table. My name. 51% voting shares. Board members looked at each other. One of them looked at Ernesto. He nodded. I opened my folder. I placed my surgical records on the table. My compatibility report. 98% tissue match. The operative note. I pulled my collar to the side so the scar was fully visible. I donated my left kidney to my father on September 15th, 2025, I said. I lost 9 weeks of income. I have permanent monitoring requirements for the rest of my life. I have $11,000 in costs I paid out of my own account. At the family dinner on November 23rd, my mother toasted my sister for saving his life. 22 people raised their glasses. No one said my name. I sat at position 18 wearing this scar, and I was invisible. I placed Patricia Ibarra's incident report on the table in front of the company attorney. On August 18th, my mother went to the hospital social worker and asked whether my donation could be delayed or replaced. She told the social worker I was emotionally unstable. The ethics committee investigated and cleared me. The committee documented that her concerns appeared to stem from controlling family dynamics. The attorney looked at Gloria. "Gloria, did you go to the hospital social worker to oppose this donation?" Gloria did not answer. I let the room stay quiet. Then I stood. Effective immediately, I am removing Gloria Vega from the position of Chief Financial Officer, pending a formal review of her conduct and financial management. Gloria was on her feet. "You cannot do this." "I can. Article 6, Section 4 of the company bylaws. Majority shareholder has authority to remove officers with or without cause. Counsel, please confirm." The attorney confirmed it. I turned to Renata. I told her she had 48 hours to choose between a restructured role at a reduced salary or a severance arrangement. The board voted. 5 in favor, my father abstained. Motion carried. "Meeting adjourned," I said. "Gloria, please collect your personal belongings by end of business today." I picked up my folder. I walked out. I did not look back. Behind me, I heard my mother's voice go high and thin. "Ernesto, how could you allow this?" And my father's voice, quieter and steadier than I had ever heard it. I let her fix what I spent 34 years breaking. The week that followed moved fast. Gloria moved out of the family house within days. She hired an attorney to challenge the share transfer. Her attorney reviewed the documents and called her back. Ironclad. Witnessed. Notarized. Properly filed. No legal grounds. The attorney's advice was to let it go. Renata's husband, Marco, found out from a work contact. He came home and stood in the kitchen doorway. "I shook your hand at that dinner. I told you how proud I was of you. Why did I not know?" Renata did not have a good answer. That was the first fracture. On December 30th at 11:14 p.m., someone knocked at my door. It was Renata, coat over pajamas, eyes red, slightly unsteady. I stepped aside and let her in. She sat on my couch and talked for a long time. She said our mother had told her since she was small that she was the important daughter and that I was our father's leftover sadness. She said being the favored one was its own closed room. She said she had started therapy the week after the board meeting. She said when Marco showed her the ethics committee report, when she understood what their mother had actually done at that hospital, she had been physically sick. The fundraiser, she said. Mom called me 2 days after your surgery. She said we had to shape the story before you did. She said if you got credit for the donation, you would use it to take everything. I said, use it? She saved Dad. And Mom said we needed a different version out there first. I sat in the chair across the room, not beside her. I am sorry, she said. I know that does not fix it, but I am sorry. I looked at her for a long moment. You are still demoted. That does not change. And I cannot be your sister right now. I do not know if I will be, but I hear you, and I believe you mean it. That is going to have to be enough. At the door, she paused. Why did you do it? After everything, why did you still give him the kidney? I thought about it honestly. Because he is my dad, and I loved him even when he did not protect me. That does not turn off because someone hurts you. She left. I closed the door. I leaned against it. My cat Higo pressed against my ankles. I picked him up. I sat on the floor and I cried. Not from pain, from relief, from grief, from everything finally having somewhere to land. It is March now. Gloria lives in Tucson. The divorce is moving forward. Renata is in therapy twice a week. She and Marco are in counseling. I do not know how that ends. My father's kidney function is at 92%. We have coffee every Sunday. He always arrives first. I became board chair in January. I hired an external CEO named Carmen Reyes. I kept my greenhouse. I kept 51% of the shares. My salary is $95,000. My medical debt is paid. I have $12,000 in savings. I created a fund through the company, $50,000 a year to help living organ donors with the costs of recovery. The first person I helped was a 27-year-old man named Raphael. He donated a kidney to his mother and lost his job while he was healing. I handed him a check for $5,000. He looked at it and then at me. You made this? Someone should have made it for me. Now we make it for others. The scar is still there, 6 inches, pink and raised. It aches when the temperature drops. I do not cover it. This is what I know now. The people who erase you are afraid of what you represent. They are not powerful. They are afraid. And the thing they are most afraid of is that one day you will stop needing them to see you. That day came. Tell me something. If this had been you, would you have done the same thing? Or would you have given them one more chance? Drop it in the comments. And if you know someone who needs to hear this story right now, send it to them. They will know why. If this story gave you that feeling, that specific satisfaction of watching the truth finally land, subscribe, because I have more. Stories about people who were written off and counted out, who then made sure that was the last mistake anyone made. See you in the next one.